shit.
Technical difficulties. Welcome to another episode of OG55, where the Italiano is dropping shit right out the gate. Welcome to another episode, everybody. We are live. We are taking your questions. So comment down below with any questions you might have about parks, studio, music, our personal lives, whatever you want to talk about. We will discuss it up next on OG55. Let's get it. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. Now, for those of you that are not aware, George and I and our friend Theme Park Conductor are in the middle of the, was it 5-day beard challenge, the Italiano? 5 days, I believe, right?
6.
Is it 6 days? Okay.
6, yeah.
We're doing a beard grow off to see who can grow a beard fastest. Now, obviously, George is going to win. We all know this, but hey, it's going to be fun. But actually, on Wednesday, we'll be on Conductor's channel with the final results. So I haven't shaved in a couple of days, and I'm looking a little scruffy, but nothing like George. Look at George, man. You got the 5 o'clock, man. You got like a 7 o'clock, dude. You're really filling in.
I'm hitting into the late hours there.
Yeah, exactly. But before we dive into our festivities, Italiano, if you could let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There it is. He's the Italiano. I'm OG.
Young blow, but I'm built like an OG.
There we go. Now we want to welcome Michelle Bailey as a member of OG fam. She's officially a member. Michelle, thank you so much for joining. So those of you that don't know, we just started a membership program here on the channel. It's $4.99, and you get exclusive content, exclusive videos only for members, and some of our big collaborations, like when we have Hey Bricky on the channel, or like DSNY. You get those big collaborations like a day or two early before everybody else does. So Michelle, thank you so much for joining. We appreciate you. It means a lot to us. Thank you. All right, first question of the day is from Mr. T.S. Wade. T.S. Wade here says, since Hercules the musical is coming to the West End, will it eventually come to Broadway next? Now, we were talking before the show, George. West End, is that a theater? Or we're not
I believe
really sure?
that's the West End Theater.
Okay.
I think that's where it's going to kind of have its start run, to kind of see like how the audience takes to it.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Wade, I mean, if it's successful enough, then it will. Absolutely. I mean, Disney has a history of doing these Broadway shows. Like Lion King was very successful. Beauty and the Beast, very successful. If it's big, it will likely come to Broadway, and we'll see. And Hercules has an amazing soundtrack. Anytime Disney uses Go the Distance in any show, whether it's fireworks or anything, instant goosebumps. It's almost like my spidey senses get activated. You know, it's crazy. A great soundtrack. It has potential to do amazing things. So it's a possibility, Wade, but we'll have to wait and see. What do you think, George?
Yeah, I feel like anything with Go to Distance, it's one of my favorite Disney songs. It can't beat A Whole New World. I will say that, but I do love that song. I just love Hercules in general. I think if they do, if the show is anything like the film, I think it's a very underrated Disney film. I think the characters are great. The animation's great. The music is great. I love how they blended a like the Greek mythology with like a gospel kind of Southern Baptist kind of vibe to it, like with the muses and everything. I thought was phenomenal.
Very, very clever. Yeah, great movie, great soundtrack. It has potential, so we'll see. It might be heading to Broadway. We never know. Friend of the channel, Kaylee with 2 E's is in the house. She says, "Did you make the montage yet?" LOL. This is an inside joke. And yes, Kaylee, I am working on the montage. It should be done probably in a few days. So I'll send it to you. I think it'd be really, really funny. But she continues with, what character dining would you like to have in the park if they were to open another character dining? What say you, George? Any character dining, any IP, any sort of, what would you prefer?
I honestly think what would be kind of cool if they were to do a specialty character dining of Inside Out, but I would incorporate all the emotions. And I think it's quite interesting for how big Inside Out 2 has become, and it's still going, that
Right.
we haven't seen more of the emotions as, meet and greet characters. Like we just got Anger, which I was able to meet. I was actually the second, aside from like media and all that, but as far as like guests in the park, I was guest number 2 to ever meet Anger during his debut at the park. So there's joy, sadness, anger, but I mean, we still have to get fear, disgust.
Yeah.
We got anxiety, we got envy. What is it? Ennui? I think that's what,
Something like
yeah,
that.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Oh,
And
we got
embarrassment.
yeah. I'm telling you, anxiety will crush. I mean, anxiety is a fan favorite and absolutely adorable. I like the design of that character. Actually, it kind of reminds me a lot of like the Fraggle Rock characters for some
Yes.
reason. Very, very cute. Kaylee, they don't have. Okay, George, in Florida, do they have a Jack Sparrow dining experience?
No.
That's what I would want. Because if you had a Jack Sparrow pirate character dining, but have it more, I would have it more geared more towards adults. Have it more, a little more alcohol. Come on, it's Jack Sparrow. You got to have a little rum or something, a little spicy. You know what I'm saying? That could get really fun really fast.
That that would be interesting if they added that to the new Pirates Bar and Lounge. That's going to take the place in Tortuga Tavern across from Pirates at Magic Kingdom.
Exactly. I think that'd be incredible, man. That'd be absolutely incredible. You have a few beers, you got Jack Sparrow, working the crowd a little bit. Really, really cool stuff. Yeah, that would be fun. Thanks, Kaylee. It's good to see you. It's always good to see you. Mr. Matthew Murr, all the way from the UK. I just filmed a video with Mr. Matthew Murr and our good friend, Mr. Seymour Duck, all about physical media. Is physical media dead? And Disney Plus and the whole streaming industry and what have you. Great video. That video will drop on Monday morning. But Mr. Matthew Murr here says, do you think Disney's ploy of marketing Moana 2 to be released in theaters will work for future releases, or will it only do so much to keep cinemas in business? So my feeling on this, Matthew, is I think cinemas will remain in business, but it's going to become a smaller market. The days of like everything going to theaters, I think, are over, and even Bob Iger, we talked about it today on the video, Matthew, where Bob Iger, he's focusing on quality over quantity, right? That's great for Disney, but that's not great for the theaters who need content in their theaters all year round, right? So the theaters are going to be on the struggle bus. They're really going to be struggling, and I think that it's going to be tough for them. Are they going to go away completely? No, but it wouldn't surprise me if we start to see locations shut down and it just becomes a smaller entity. So we'll see. Now, it is smart, in my opinion, that they turned Moana 2 from a series to a movie, because they can kind of dip into the money well twice, right? So if you make it a series, you only get that Disney Plus money. But now going into theaters as a movie, you get the box office, which for Moana is going to be huge. Okay. It's probably going to be another $1 billion movie for Disney, I would think, because Moana is a massive franchise. So you're going to get that money, the theater money. Then when it gets on Disney Plus, it's going to crush on Disney Plus, just like the first film has done for the past almost decade now. So you're dipping into that money well twice by putting it in the theater. So it's a smart move on Disney's part. But George, what do you think? You think this is a good idea? The marketing of Moana 2 to be released in theaters, it will save the theater industry. Where do you stand, brother?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think they ever really have like intention to say like specifically this film is going to be like going to save theaters, but I do feel like that it can contribute just to the notion of helping out the theater, because I mean, we have to admit, I mean, the theater business in general is just, in a slump, but I think it's starting to kind of revitalize, and I feel like Inside Out 2 was kind of the pioneer for that. And then we're also going to see that next weekend as well, because with Deadpool and Wolverine, because I think that if we see that Inside Out 2 is breaking all sorts of numbers,
oh yeah,
I can't imagine what Deadpool and Wolverine's going to bring in.
it's gonna crush. And our good friend Slimer, contributor here on the channel, good friend of ours, Slimer says here, just hopping on to say hello. Stay orange, everybody. Yeah. Orange, you glad Slimer hopped in? I'm glad. I'm glad. It's always good to see you, buddy.
He's very appealing.
Yes, he's very appealing. Orange, you glad he showed up? I'm very glad. And then we got Mr. Seymour Duck, another friend of the channel. Mr. Seymour Duck, always good to see you, brother. Always good to see you. And then real quick before we move on, our friend Kevin, Mr. Tech Bear, says, I'm working on Hercules tickets for my fall trip to Europe. I'll give a review when I return. Awesome. Very curious about that. I think it has potential. And we also have another new member here. This guy named George Falcione. I don't know who this gentleman is. George, do you have any idea who this guy is?
I don't know, but he looks like he's kind of shady. I don't know what he's up to.
Yes, kind of seedy, right? A little seedy guy over here, No, no, but George, your family here, but thank you for becoming a member. Absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to even though I'm a major contributor to the channel, but I want to be able to have access on top of my already special access to be able to, get in there, interact with all the members, and have a good conversation. Plus, there's going to be a lot of content that's going to be added for members. So I definitely want to see like how it looks in its final
form, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we record this stuff, and it's always kind of interesting when we record a video. We have an idea of like what we did, right? But then when you release it to the public out in the wild, how people react to it and stuff. It's part of the fun of creating content, to see the reaction and everything. So this gives George an opportunity to kind of interact with these member videos as well, which is an awesome idea. Lord Jonathan is in the house, everybody. Lord Jonathan, question: could more princess lands for Wish, Moana, Tiana, Snow White, and more might be added to Magic Kingdom someday, or Disney moving away from princesses due to Tron, Country Bears, and more adding into the park? So here's my thought on that, Lord Jonathan. In terms of lands, I don't want to see more lands based on princesses. I think Fantasyland does the job just fine. I think Fantasyland, especially in Walt Disney World, you guys got a lot of space out there. You can fit a lot of this princess stuff over there, right? Now, there are exceptions, right? Now, you mentioned Tiana, you mentioned Moana. These are two franchises. Tiana's a different kind of princess. She's more of this entrepreneur, and obviously her connection to like New Orleans. So I think that works, for her own attraction connected to New Orleans Square, like at Disneyland, right? Maybe in Florida, they'll change the area around Tiana's to be a little bit more New Orleans as well. So I think she's great. Moana, I don't know. She's not really a fairy tale, so she doesn't really belong in Fantasyland, but I could see her getting her own attraction, say, in Adventureland, right? And that's a pretty strong rumor, actually, for this D23. So attractions, absolutely. Whole lands, though, centered around like Snow White and like these princesses, I don't want to see that. I would like to keep as many of these princesses that we can in Fantasyland. I even said, the video dropped today. The video did with Jack from DSNY. I was even talking about my concern with Frozen getting its own land at Disneyland. If it's not connected to Fantasyland, it feels a little weird. You know what I'm saying? It almost feels a little bit of a redundancy, to have Frozen have its own thing, but then you have an existing Fantasyland over here. It feels kind of weird. So yeah, not lands, but attractions. And in Fantasyland, I think would be perfect. But George, what say you, sir?
I'm one that, I'm with you. I would prefer to see new lands, but where they kind of have like a fantasy land or a fantasy springs where you have multiple IP or multiple different kinds of attractions based off of the films. But I do know that Disney's kind of going this route of just picking one specific IP and running with it for an attraction. So, or not an attraction, excuse me, a whole entire land. So I think that's just the route that they're going to go. As far as like with Tiana and Moana, yes, Moana is definitely probably going to get an attraction at Magic Kingdom and Adventureland for sure. Tiana already kind of has her area in right off in New Orleans Square going into Critter Country with Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and also partial of Frontierland becoming like a New Orleans kind of way. So I feel that in time they probably will add more of the princesses, but I feel like that they'll utilize it, based off of the popularity and the numbers. It means a lot, but I don't really think that it would jeopardize any other kind of IP. I think if an IP is strong enough, I mean, it's even a possibility with Zootopia. Zootopia isn't a princess franchise, but it is very popular, so there is even still a possibility it may come into just say DCA.
Yeah, exactly. And Mr. Seymour Duck gifted 1 OG55 membership. Thank you so much, Seymour. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. And like I said, I recorded a video with him and Matthew earlier today. Fantastic conversation about the death of physical media and streaming in general and things like that. Really great video. It's going to drop on Monday morning. Thank you, Seymour. We do appreciate you. Thank you so much. And make sure you follow Seymour on Twitter or X at Mr. Seymour Duck. He does. If you love Nintendo, if you love Disney, you like to dive into the financial stuff in regards to both of those two great companies, definitely follow Mr. Seymour Duck on Twitter. BJ Vincent is in the house. He says, hi, OG and George. What Disney movie would you like to see, and or do you think could naturally cross over with the Zootopia universe? One stipulation has to be another franchise where anthropomorphic animals that have created human-like societies, Tailspin, Planet of the Apes, Sing, etc. What say you, George? What do you think? Do you like this idea? Don't like this idea? What would you do?
So it's a very interesting question, BJ Vincent. However, I'm one that I don't really like a lot of crossovers, to be honest with you. I think it was something that, was used for specific reasons. I'm going to really date myself, but they did it even with the Power Rangers, where they kind of like intercrossed with other Power Ranger series, or they teamed up with the Ninja Turtles at one point. Yes, I'm like dating myself all the way back to the 90s, but and then they kind of, obviously Marvel took that by storm, but I'm just kind of like done with it. I feel like that they kind of beat it with a stick, so to speak. So with me, I would just like to keep Zootopia, and don't really go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, I like what you did there. Rabbit hole. That was very meta. I like that. I like that. I would agree. I'm not really into the crossover stuff. It starts to get into kind of meta. Speaking of meta, it starts to get into a little meta territory. Occasionally it works, in rare instances it works, like in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where all these characters came together. I think they did that in a really smart way. But again, that was what, Robert Zemeckis, right? And Steven Spielberg. Yeah. So, I mean, come on, these are like legends, but very rarely does it work as well as that, But I would prefer not to, BJ Vincent. I think Zootopia has a really rich kind of universe already in and of itself. Just tap into that. It really is Zootopia as its own universe, like that world building that Disney did with this franchise. It's so the sky really is the limit, right? There's so much potential with it. You don't really need to cross it over with anything else. You have enough to work with already in universe, So yeah, I would just leave it like that. Thank you for joining, BJ. We do appreciate you, sir. And Lord Jonathan is in the house one more time. It says here, could Cars be announced for Hollywood Studios at D23, not Magic Kingdom? What do you think, George? You think you guys are going to get Radiator Springs Racers over there at Hollywood Studios? It would fit better than Magic Kingdom. That's for dang sure.
It would. If we were to get anything of Cars, then I would strongly suggest putting it in the Hollywood Studios rather than Magic Kingdom. However, I am a huge believer that I don't really like a lot of carbon copies or in that nature where it's just, I feel after over a decade with Radiator Springs Racers, I feel like that is so far beyond as far as like with technology goes and what have you. And I'm not saying Disney can't do it or update the technology, but it's like is it relevant enough to do so? I felt like Cars Land came at the perfect time when the franchise was uh, having a hot streak, no pun intended. But and then of course,
They were really, for a while there, they were really turbocharging it. You know what I'm saying?
I know they were really, yeah. No, I mean, it was gearing up to be a huge success.
Right. Exactly.
But the die-cast metal car vehicles,
It was wheelie successful. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I had to.
You're good. But yeah, you know, in that moment, I felt like that it was the best move. Plus, as OG has said it many times, Cars Land is just DCA.
It is
so well. I don't want to see it anywhere else. I love being able to go out to Disneyland for DCA and then say, you know what, I can't wait to see Cars Land. You know, I want to have something different with at Magic Kingdom, at Hollywood Studios. If you want to use like any other kind of Pixar IP, I'd be fine with. Now, of course, they do have the Lightning McQueen Racing Academy, but it's a little show, and I do enjoy it. I actually went with Slimer. He actually introduced it to me because I've never seen it before, and it's a cute little show, but I don't want a carbon copy.
Yeah. I think if they were to clone Radiator Springs, you do Hollywood Studios. I think that's where you put it, you know. But I'm kind of with George. It kind of has become like a DCA thing, and it would feel a little weird somewhere else at this point. And I think that they should get a little more creative with what they're going to do over there in Walt Disney World, because Walt Disney World has really gone through kind of a big drought lately. Let's give Floridians some new stuff. Let's give them something to really get excited about right now. You know what I'm saying? Pat K here says, when I worked an extra shift in Adventureland, a lot of guests were asking for alcohol at the tavern, and people expected alcohol. That's at a tavern. Yeah, it makes sense. You're in a tavern to have alcohol. So they don't have that. They don't have alcohol over there, George.
I believe it or not, I've never really been in there, to be honest with you. A lot of the Adventureland stuff is just, I feel like a little bit outdated for me. Yeah. But I am very curious that when they do add that Pirates kind of like bar lounge area, I definitely want to check that out. And I love your idea. If they added Jack Sparrow in there and he kind of did this, like a little bit of like his type of like pirate tutorial or something, while for adults and people are drinking. Like, I mean, man.
There used to be a restaurant in North Hollywood. Now this was a while back. The place actually ended up burning down, unfortunately. But it was in North Hollywood. For people that live in the Southern California area, and have been here for a while, like in the early 2000s, probably ish, there was a place called Tokyo Delves. Okay, Tokyo, and then the second word is Delves. Google it or go on YouTube. Okay, this place was crazy in the best way. Basically, what they would do, you get in there, right, and they serve food and they serve alcohol. You do sake bombs, right? They encourage you to do sake bombs. They put the chopsticks on your beer. They got the little sake or whatever, and then you pound the table. It falls in the beer. You chug it. Everyone gets hammered. This is like the first half hour of the experience. Okay, then they do a whole show, a whole song and dance in the restaurant. They dress up like NSYNC, they dance, they dress up like Spider-Man, they fight. Incredible experience. I would love to see them bring that energy to a Jack Sparrow experience, like, you know, in the tavern. Will Disney ever do that? No, because Tokyo Delves got really wild, but that's what the kind of energy you want to bring when it comes to pirates. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, but everyone should check it out though on YouTube. Tokyo Delves. Place is absolutely nuts. Unfortunately, it burnt down like 10 or 12 years ago or something like that, but they should rebuild it. Matthew Murr here says, final question. Do you think Disney should always bank on the casting of huge superstars for voice roles like Jeremy Irons, Dwayne Johnson, Kelly Marie Tran, or should mix it up a little? I think they should mix it up a little. I don't think you need a superstar every single time. I think you can get an unknown person who can do just as good and maybe even better. You know what I'm saying?
I prefer it, actually, if they kind of get like a newbie type of person, like how they did with Ali'i Carvalho for Moana, or a lot of older Disney films, they kind of utilized kind of like newbie kind of people that no one really knew about. I think it was, I mean, there were several people who were like big names. Like you had Ed Wynn.
Oh God, he was so brilliant.
Oh, he was.
His voice was so unique. For those of you that don't know who Ed Wynn is, he was the voice of the Mad Hatter.
Yes.
And he was in a lot of live action stuff too, though, for Walt, right?
He did. He played in Mary Poppins, the We Love to Laugh scene.
Right.
And he was actually also on an episode of The Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Oh man, God bless him. He's fantastic. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're good. But also, I do apologize, folks. There is the hype train.
There we go.
But
nothing can stop us now.
There you go. But one of the bigger names actually back in the time was Phil Harris. He was a huge movie mogul at that time, and Walt personally wanted him to do the voice of Baloo in the Jungle Book.
Wow.
And little funny story, but Phil Harris actually didn't want to do it at first. He wasn't interested, and they ended up calling him back and said, Phil, Mr. Disney wants you to come in and try for this role for this bear. And he said, well, can you let me do it the way that I feel, like it would be appropriate? And they said, yeah, sure, go for it. So he stood in front of the mic and he was like, kid, you keep messing around with these monkeys, you'll get your roof knocked in. And it was like, it was that kind of, and they said, that's exactly what we wanted. And that's how he ended up getting the role of Baloo.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, you want to tap into some unknown talent. You never know. There could be some young person that does it that doesn't have a long resume that can come in there and absolutely crush as a character. You just never know. Now that doesn't mean that you don't tap into the big names like you were saying, Matthew, like Jeremy Irons, Kelly Marie Tran. You can tap into the big names too here and there. But you do want to also have new talent. I mean, to be honest with you, Kelly Marie Tran was new talent before she got cast in Star Wars. Mm-hmm. She was working an office job, dude. She was working like this regular 9-to-5 office job, and then she got the call. You got the role, and it obviously changed her whole life. But you have to kind of put your faith into some new people too. You can't just always bank on the old guard, so to speak. So great question though, Matthew. Really good. Alma Bacerto, thank you, Alma, for joining us. We do appreciate you, Alma. Do you think Michael Eisner should return to Disney after Bob Iger leaves in 2026? I don't. I do believe in moving on. I love Michael Eisner. I think he did a great job with Disney, especially those first, 10 years. I think he was phenomenal. Disney, honestly, wouldn't be what it is today without that man. Okay, he changed Disney. He saved Disney. He did amazing things. Yeah, and forever thankful to Michael. But he's getting up there. He's old. The dude, he's up there. You know what I'm saying? And you can't have him be CEO again at that age. Look, I wouldn't be against him coming back in some sort of like advisory role or something, where he's sort of there to if they need
counsel.
Yeah. What do you think? You're a former CEO. You have a lot of experience. What's your take on this? How do you think we should do this? Something like that would be awesome. But to be CEO again, no, man. They have to have new blood in there, fresh eyes. I was talking about today with Seymour and Matthew on the video. We think it's going to be Dana Walden, the next CEO. Yeah. That's. Our money's on her. It could be somebody else, but she's got a lot of studio experience. Her division is doing really, really well. She even has political experience. She's on Joe Biden's export committee, or I don't know. But here's the thing, and I know if you don't like Joe Biden, that's fine. Okay, it's kind of besides the point, but
it's on her resume.
It's on her resume, and that experience comes in handy when you're running a company like Disney, when you're having to deal with a lot of foreign entities with the parks. Whether you're dealing with China, whether you're dealing with France. I'm saying, you have to be able to sort of navigate those international waters, and she has that experience. It's hers to lose, man. And I think Daddy Josh I'm sorry. I think Josh seems like a really nice guy. I don't think he's equipped for this job. I know a lot of Park fans are kind of rooting for him because he's a Park guy. Personally, I don't think he has what it takes, and I don't really trust him, to be honest with you, to navigate these waters in terms of the studio. The studio and Hollywood in general right now is going through a seismic shift with streaming and how everything is changing. And we're going to put Josh D'Amaro in there. Josh can't even get a ride greenlit and off the ground. It's like pulling teeth for him to announce something at the expo. That's confirmed. And he's gonna navigate us through the changing atmosphere and environment of the streaming world. It's not gonna happen.
Would be kind of nice, because if he did decide to pull his teeth, it would make a nice pearl necklace.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There goes George with his grape juice. For the longest time, I thought you were drinking grape juice. I don't know why.
And maybe it's just because of the color.
Yeah,
it looks like.
Well,
but for anyone who doesn't know, it is Turner's Tea.
There he is.
So Turner's Tea, if you want to sponsor us, give us a call.
There it is. Yeah. And I guess if you were having grape juice, you'd have a pretty shitty day, right, George?
Oh yes, definitely. Like, it would just be going down the toilet.
Yeah, exactly. But what say you about Michael Eisner? What do you think, George?
Yeah, I'm definitely. I echo your statement. Eisner was great during the time when he was in, well, at least the first part, that is, and then he. It kind of slumped after, he had his health decline, and we lost Frank Wells, and the whole issue, like, with Disneyland Paris, at the time, Euro Disney. But I think they bring him back in, at his age and what have you. I think we should kind of, kind of move forward. And I agree with you, Seymour and Matthew. I feel like Dana Walden is the pick.
Yeah.
My issue with Josh is, even if he does come out at D23 and pushes all these new plans, projects, rides, shows, whatever, what have you, that for me, it's just to the notion that it would take this long for something to kind of be done. And I'm sorry, just that one time, even if it was a success, that doesn't mean that that's kind of like a, rubber stamp, sign, seal, and deliver. He's perfect for CEO, because one time of a D23 event, after how many years he's been Parks chairman, and honestly, of the mess that was when you put in another Parks chairman as CEO, I don't think Wall Street would appreciate that as much.
Yeah, historically, Disney has had studio people, and it's because Disney is it's black shirt season. Absolutely. It's because Disney is a studio first. Okay, and I know a lot of theme park people don't like to hear that. But if you don't like to hear it from OG, maybe you can hear it from Roy himself.
The real heartbeat of this company was, is, and will always be the film business.
There it is. It's the film business. So we need a film business person in there running it. And I think it's going to be Dana Walden, but we will see. And honestly, if it's not Dana, it might even be like a Kevin Meyer, or it might even be a Tom Staggs. I think these are the people that they're looking at, but you never know. I didn't think Bob Iger was going to pick Chapek, and he did. So who knows? It can go in any direction. Florentine is in the house. I think George would like this, but would a Magic Kingdom Renaissance land? Is that a chef's kiss?
That's a chef's kiss.
With a land based on Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and Little Mermaid. A Voyage of the Little Mermaid could be replaced by Beauty and the Beast attraction from Tokyo, and Magic Carpets can move to its new home alongside an indoor e-ticket attraction. The Magic Carpets, fun fact, is George's favorite thing at the Magic Kingdom.
It really is. It is like it's my favorite ride ever. It's like it's too good to even have it operating. I think it honestly belongs in a trash compactor. That's just how good it is.
Is it so good it belongs in a museum?
Yes.
Is it, or is it?
That is one big pile of shit.
Or is it more like that?
Yes. Lock it up. Throw away the key.
Yeah, there you go. No, but what say you about Florentine's idea?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love for them to have like a Disney Renaissance kind of land where, you know, you add in all the 90s films, honestly, Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid. And actually with The Little Mermaid, I personally feel like that movie deserves so much justice than what we got just as that fantasy land ride, to be honest. I felt like that it was kind of rushed. I felt like there was so many more scenes that they could have added to it. Now I'll give DCA a little bit of a, you know,
Hey, be careful, be careful.
Yeah. Oh, so y'all ain't gonna let nobody disrespect the West Coast, huh?
Be careful, buddy.
I'll give DCA a little bit of a slide when it comes to The Little Mermaid, because that was put into a building that had already existed. But for Walt Disney World, again, they had all that extra land. They did get creative as far as like with the queue and everything, but I would have added more scene elements into the ride itself. But I do agree with you. I would love to see Florentine. I would love to see Beauty and the Beast. I would love to see Aladdin. Other than I do love a magic carpet ride, but I do not like the magic carpet ride that they have. I would love a little bit more of a, I don't know, kind of like a dark ride, kind of like a romantic kind of like they used to do, like the Tunnel of Love.
Oh yeah,
sort of thing.
Yeah. Now I think your idea, Florentine, is fantastic. My only complaint is a complaint that I actually addressed earlier on in the show. Having a Disney Renaissance land feels redundant because we have Fantasyland, right? So I love your idea, but I would have one minor change to it, and I would put it in Hollywood Studios. And then you can kind of have your Renaissance land in Hollywood Studios, and it doesn't feel as redundant because you don't have a Fantasyland over there. But other than that, I love that idea. The Renaissance era has been, man, so underrepresented in the domestic parks, and even during Michael Eisner. I mean, we got a bunch of parades, we got shows, but we never got any big attractions with these fantastic movies. Little Mermaid, Lion King. We never got a Lion King attraction. I mean, come on. So I love your idea, Florentine, but I would just put it in Hollywood Studios. I think that would be a better fit for it because we already have a Fantasyland over in Magic Kingdom. But thank you for joining us. And Jason Hill, friend of the channel, is in the house. Jason here said, just got here. I just saw the Disney 80s and 90s celebration concert at the Hollywood Bowl. Have you seen any clips? Thoughts? Bill Farmer doing the, quote, perfect cast unlocked some childhood memories. I did see a clip. I did. And Jason, I think it might have been your Instagram that I saw it. I could be mistaken on that. But it was an interaction with Corbin Bleu from High School Musical. And it was a cool little interaction, but that's all I saw. It was there. The other host, his co-host, was kind of poking fun at him and was singing some High School Musical songs and what have you. But that's all I've seen. But George loves that era, and I would actually be interested if we can find a video, George, of the entire performance. Maybe we can do like a reaction video to it.
That would be really cool because I didn't see anything on it, and that's very surprising. But I would love to see if they do, because that would be really cool. That would be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. You got what do you got over here?
Hey, baby, come here. This is actually for Kaylee. She asked if Mickey could make an appearance.
Oh,
and
here we go.
There we go. There you go. Everyone right say hi to Mickey. Hey, baby boy.
Mickey.
Cookie. Yes, okay.
Oh, little Mickey. Oh man, you know what? We don't even need to be here. Just have Mickey take the show on. He's fantastic. We love Mickey. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. And Jason, it's always good to see you, brother. Thank you for jumping in and joining us today. We appreciate you. And we got Rudio in the house. The one, the only Rudio. Yes. He says, hello, fellas. What were your priority choices for the D23 reservation system? And tell me what pose you're planning to do with Bluey. Oh man, Bluey's going to be epic. We actually both, we put in for the Bluey.
We did.
meet and greet or whatever, which is interesting. We talked a little bit about it, but like with Jack, right, from DSNY, like there's something to that because there's like 15 time slots to meet him or her. I just found out it's a woman.
It's
girl,
yeah, I did too.
I misgendered Bluey. I'm so sorry. No, but I'm thinking they're gonna put Bluey in the parks. I really do. They have the costume character, and like Jack was saying, the animation courtyard in Hollywood Studios would be a perfect spot to put it. But George, what were some of your priority choices for the reservation system? And then I'll
so
we kind of chose a lot of the same stuff. So go ahead.
We did. We kind of divided and conquered to kind of see like because OG and I pretty much like the same stuff. So we kind of figured there's there's truth in numbers. So like if we pick the same stuff, we have a higher chance of getting what we want. We did a lot of well, I had to put in for the Goofy movie panel. I don't know if we get it. I spoke to actually the director of the film, Kevin Lima, which I actually had a conversation with him on Twitter, and he told me that D23 told him that people could still.
Oh, girl, he told her that he told him, and dish, George, dish.
that people attending the Friday night presentation at the Honda Center, they still could make it, but I don't know if they, because it says on the schedule that the presentation is supposed to end at 6:30. The studio panel, the studio presentation over the showcase over at the Honda Center starts at 7. So for a half hour, that's kind of cutting it pretty close. So if we don't make it, I would rather go to the studio showcase, to be honest. But we also did a lot of like Imagineering kind of panels. We did some signings. So we'll see what we get.
Yeah, and then we have. I'm actually really looking forward to the Lucasfilm Stagecraft thing. I don't know if that's on the floor or what have you, but
I believe that's on the show floor. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like part of like the reservation thing, so that's pretty cool. I'm actually looking forward to that.
The other thing I'm looking forward to, and this is also on the show floor. You don't need a reservation; they're just going to have it there. Is the Great Big Beautiful car show. They're going to have all like the automobiles that were part of the the films and everything, and we know Herbie is definitely going to make an appearance.
Our boy Herbie. I still think it's a missed opportunity that they went with the name Horizons for the experiences panel when they should have went with A Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. But whatever.
Yes,
it is what it is. All right, here we go. We got Jim Mayer. Thank you for joining us, Jim. Stitch seems to be timelessly popular. And that's true. Actually, Stitch has turned out to be a pretty timeless character, which I'm kind of surprised, to be honest with you. When that movie came out, I do remember, what was it, like 2002, I think? Stitch, Lilo and Stitch?
2002, yes.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, this movie, the way they marketed this movie was so meta and like self-aware, right? Remember he was like invading all the different Disney movie posters and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is like another Shrek or something. It's like, oh gosh, here we go, right? But it's actually stood the test of time. It's so popular, and I heard it's really big in Japan. Like he is huge in Japan, But it says here, I find it strange that there is no strong Stitch attraction in a U.S. park. Do you guys think they should tap into this, and where in the DL resort would you place it? Okay, Stitch would be fantastic. I think he's adorable. I think that, and you're right. He's proven himself to be a evergreen franchise. That movie came out like 20 plus years ago, and I see them merch everywhere still.
And they would never do this, but I have kind of an interesting take on what they can do.
Go for it.
So for me, they used to have the Stitch's Great Escape over in Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom, which that replaced Alien Encounter, which now nothing is in that building. It's stagnant. But a lot of people, here's the interesting thing about Stitch. He is a beloved character. He's very good with the merchandise sell. He is very good at like the character meet and greet and what have you. But when it comes to an attraction, okay, there's kind of two different renditions of Stitch, and you don't really get that too much with a character. You have the Experiment 626 version of Stitch, the alien Stitch in space, but then you also have the dog version of Stitch that was raised by Lilo in Hawaii. So you kind of get like that. So, and it's like, okay, well, where would you put that? Because if you get one rendition over the other, you either can get a Tomorrowland Stitch or you can get an Adventureland Stitch. So it's like, why can't you have both? What if they had two separate attractions based off of Stitch, but the story continues? So you start off in Tomorrowland with that attraction that he's in space, he's as Experiment 626. Right. But then when he crashes on Earth, ends, and if you want to see what happens, you got to go over to Adventureland and continue the story.
Interesting concept, and that's interesting. Stitch is a character. You make a great point. He is a character that can work in both of these lands. My initial thought was, oh, you'd put it in Tomorrowland at Disneyland Resort, right? Mm-hmm. But a Stitch ride could easily fit into Adventureland with that Hawaii kind of that tropical vibe. Fascinating, dude. I never considered that. Honestly, I kind of like the Adventureland angle even more than the Tomorrowland angle.
I actually do too.
If I had to choose one or the other, I'd probably choose the Adventureland angle. I like that idea a lot, George. Well done, sir. Well done. Witch Cat Records. George, did you ever look at George getting all the love today. All the George questions. Look at George. It's that beard, dude. You know, you give off that masculinity, you know what I'm saying?
It's yes.
That's great. It's great. George, did you ever get to go on Alien Encounter? I vaguely remember it. Do you think it should have been shut down, or were people just making an unnecessary fuss over it? Does Twitter or Disney fans make an unnecessary fuss? Witch Cat never. They're totally rational and reasonable all the time. What are you talking about?
Very great question, and thank you, Witch Cat Records. I greatly appreciate it. And yes, I have experienced Alien Encounter. I actually enjoyed the ride. I went on it when I was very young, and yes, you would think, a young kid would want to experience. I actually enjoy being kind of having that frightened quality. I love like a real like thrill moment. Get your adrenaline pumping. I don't know how it would really run in today's park, but I mean, I feel like you could do something like that with like the Alien franchise over at Hollywood Studios.
Absolutely. And now they own that franchise.
Yes.
Through Fox.
So, I mean, I think that would fit in much better over there. So I do think it was appropriate that they closed it down in Magic Kingdom, but I think now that they can kind of revitalize it, maybe with newer technology, and they can use like the Alien franchise from Fox, but put it over at Hollywood Studios. And that kind of angle, as OG mentioned many times, like if they wanted to do something like a little bit more darker or edgier with like villains, or say over at Hollywood Studios, that's the angle that they can go for.
Yep. Well said. Well said. And we have, and thank you, Wishcat, for joining us. We do appreciate you. Florentine is back with question. Let's move Voyage of the Little Mermaid from Fantasyland and move it to a Renaissance land of Mermaid, Aladdin, and villains, while the Beauty and the Beast. Oh, wait, I think we already did that one, didn't we? I thought we did this one. Maybe not.
Maybe they
Beauty and the Beast Tokyo ride takes place and it's becoming its own land. Okay, Lion King and Animal Kingdom. Okay, yeah, Lion King definitely should get its own land in Animal Kingdom, and the attraction should be like Indiana Jones Adventure, something big like that.
But here's the thing: I wonder if they would use a different kind of ride system, because now that Indiana Jones is going to be taking over Dinosaur, you would then have two attractions with the same kind of ride vehicle.
Oh, that's true.
Now it's not guaranteed, but there's like a lot of rumbles in the jungle, no pun intended. That
you ain't lying.
that man, we're kicking it today.
Kaylee is loving this. This is like so her humor. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, sorry, we got maybe in the house.
Yes, we do. Maybe is in the house, and when maybe's in the house, we play the maybe drop. Here we go.
Cause I'm that girl that drive you crazy, but you're killing me alone. Got you thinking maybe alone. Got you thinking maybe alone. Got you thinking maybe.
It's always good seeing maybe his family here on OG55. All right, let me go ahead and bring this up and continue, good sir.
Yes. So there were talks that there is a possibility a Lion King attraction land is going into the Disneyland Paris park. I don't know if it's Adventure World or World Adventure. I can't remember if whatever it is, but
yeah.
I'm not really a fan of the title, to be honest with you. But I wonder if they're gonna kind of mirror a little bit and put that in Animal Kingdom. Now that I would be okay with.
But isn't that supposed to be a boat ride?
I don't know. They never really said what it was.
Oh, okay. Because I heard a rumor that it was a boat ride, and I don't like a boat ride idea for Lion King. It just doesn't feel right. Like I think Lion King needs to be more like safari vibes. I don't know. That's just my own personal opinion, but we'll see. But I mean, Lion King as a franchise deserves its own land for sure, and its own attraction at the very least. Kaylee with 2 E's says, "Where's the after party? Where's the after party, George?"
I guess the after party can come, I guess, after the live. Which actually, speaking of which, that's actually very good because we were actually kind of thinking about that later on down the road that, we would do a live. And then after we do the live, that we would maybe shorten it up a bit and then take the party over for our members only and doing a members only live. So we might be extending the party, not this time, but maybe in the future. But speaking of members, I just have to bring this up here because
George has access now to the comments, which is awesome.
Yes.
We gave him the keys to the kingdom. We finally figured out StreamYard. It's amazing. Yes. After like 7 years. It's awesome.
7 years.
Mr. Seymour, Doc gifted 1 membership. Thank you so much, Seymour. We appreciate you, brother. That was really, really cool of you. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
And also, maybe
oh my gosh, maybe 5 OG memberships. Maybe, thank you so much. That was really sweet of you. Thank you. Maybe that deserves another maybe drop. Let's do another maybe drop.
Cause I'm that girl that drive you crazy, but you're killing me alone. Got you thinking maybe alone. Got you thinking maybe alone. Got you thinking maybe.
Thank you, maybe. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Absolutely. Let me see. It was Kaylee with "What's your favorite classic Mickey short?" I'm kind of partial to this one. I'm all ready for this because he's got the same hair, dude. We got the same hair. So Plain Crazy is mine. What about you, George?
Nice. Mine is the band concert.
Oh, nice.
And I think Kaylee knows why. Because I'm a fan of the music. And of course, one of my favorite rides is, believe it or not, as simple as it is, I can't help it, folks. Blame me for it. Criticize me. Do what you will. I enjoy Silly Symphony swings.
Yeah, you're nuts, man. I can't relax on that ride. I cannot relax on that ride. I don't know how you enjoy that. Oh, man. Well, you're a thrill seeker, though,
Yes.
So... That's wild. Felicia Mulaney says here, has Disneyland decided to strike? The cast members, they voted yes to move forward with it, right? But they haven't.
Correct.
They're not striking yet. So
correct.
They passed the first hurdle, basically.
Right. They basically said, we're going to continue on. It was a 99% yes vote. And so I believe the unions took that to Disney. Disney is cooperating from what I've heard and actually Disneyland spokesperson said they are willing to, they want to take care of their cast members. They want to sit down and negotiate. So they will be negotiating at the time of this live, Monday the 22nd and Tuesday the 23rd. So hopefully something will be kind of decided upon, so that way, the cast members could get back to working. Maybe they can get a little bit more of a raise. Disney won't have to, come to terms with other different legalities, and then the unions won't have to kind of do all the crossing of the T's and dotting of the I's.
Yeah, and this is actually a really smart time for the cast members and the unions to kind of do this, because Disney's quarterly earnings call is, I think, like the first few days of August, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have the D23 Expo coming on the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th, right? So they're striking while the iron's hot. There's a lot of pressure right now to get this, sorted before the earnings call, especially before the earnings call. Bob Iger does not want to get questions about, a strike and all that stuff. So they want to get it sorted, and they also want to get sorted before the expo and all that. So smart move to start doing it. We'll see how look, eventually it's going to pan out, and I think they'll get it done, but it's just a matter of what the terms are going to be and what have you. So we'll see. We will absolutely see. Girly Nerd here says, it's good to see you, Girly Nerd. Thank you so much for joining. Just got here. How's the weekend and the beard challenge going? Okay, so George and I with Theme Park Conductor are doing I think it's a 5 or 6 day beard challenge, right? 6 day beard challenge, right? And we're gonna reconvene on a live show on Conductor's channel on Wednesday to show our beards. And the contest is who can grow a beard the fastest. Now, this is obviously going to be George. Okay, let's not kid ourselves here, But so far, what are we, like 2 days in?
This is day 2.
Day 2. So this is me, and that's George. So he's
this actually, believe it or not, this was literally, I woke up because I shaved not yesterday, but the night before when we agreed to this, when we went on Conductors Live, I woke up with this the next morning.
So you shaved that night and you woke up like this.
With this, yeah.
By tomorrow, you'll have a full beard again. It's crazy. That's going to be a fun show, by the way. I can't wait for that. That's going to be so much fun.
That's going to be very interesting.
I'm curious because I see you every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen Conductor since. I'm curious the progress that he's made.
Watch, we'll get on with him. He'll beat us both. He'll come out looking like ZZ Top.
Exactly, dude. It's gonna be hilarious. I can't wait. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun show. Really, really fun. Girly Nerd here continues, says, I hope to meet up with you guys a bit for D23. George and I need to react. We need to react our first meeting that we didn't remember till a few months ago. Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. Go ahead and tell them that story because people might not know.
Yeah, so I believe this was, I don't know if this was the first time we recorded with Girly Nerd. It was one of the times, and we were kind of talking either it was before we started recording or after, or it might have been actually during a show. And she was telling the story of with Richard Sherman and what have you, and when she was talking about, with Richard Sherman and with D23 at one of the expos that she was at, and the story that she was telling sounded very familiar. And I thought, okay, I've heard this, or I was like there to experience it. Like what this is like, I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. And then afterwards I ended up telling her, I said, I think we crossed paths before because I remember this story. It like I forgot about it, but as she was talking about it, it was like, okay, I think we met up because we talked about this when we were in line for something at D23, and I'm for sure of it because there's no way that I would have met up with someone who had the same exact story at D23. That's
crazy. That's absolutely crazy how the universe works in mysterious ways like that, Now maybe here says, I need an OG and George doing the K-pop cheek heart as an emote. Yes, we need to get that, George, for the OG55 emojis. Yes. We need that. Now, do you know how to do the K-pop cheek heart, George? Are you privy to that?
No, I am not.
Okay, there's one of two ways you can do it. Okay, you can do this. Okay, that's a cheek heart, or you can double up and do both cheeks. It's basically, basically little hearts on your cheek. Yeah, but you got to keep your fingers together.
So,
and do that. Yeah, there you go. Cheat card or this,
Mhm.
There you go. Exactly. No, we're working on it. Maybe we're gonna absolutely get that. Absolutely get that. And Bad Thoughts Studio, our friend Tones Poppy is in the house. We love Tones. Make sure you guys subscribe to Bad Thoughts Studio. We are on that on his channel all the time. Lately, I haven't been because I haven't had time to watch House of Dragon yet. I promise you, Tones, I'm going to do that. I have to get on that. I really want to check it out, but I've been way behind. But he's asking here, who has more bangers, Kendrick or Drake? George. Who has more bangers? I think you know, but if you
I think I know.
That fuck 'em up. I'ma do my.
Gotta be Kendrick.
I couldn't hear you.
Got.
That fuck 'em up. I'ma do my.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That would be it. That Kendrick's the GOAT, man.
Yeah, no, I'm a Kendrick guy, but it's all good. But yeah, I like Kendrick's music more. But Drake has a huge following. He has a massive following. Yeah. But just for me personally, I'm more of a Kendrick guy,
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and continue here. Give me just a moment. And hold on 1 second, guys. I just lost my spot. Oh, no.
I will say that, like, when we were doing like the cheat cards and everything the first time, like, it looked like I was gonna like rip off my flesh, like.
Right. And Tones is right. I say this every week with the House of the Dragon. I know, Tones. I gotta just sit down and watch it.
Tones, just you just have to know this is like OG's like thing. It is like so hilarious that anytime like we give him like oh, you gotta check this out or a movie something, it's like it's on my list.
It's on my list. I'm gonna watch it.
He'll get there one day.
Yeah, exactly. Tones here says OG looks like he just shaved before the show. I know. I'm falling behind. George is winning the race. Absolutely. We got to see who comes in second. I don't know. It'll either be me or Conductor, because you're winning, George. There's no way around that. Absolutely gonna win. Let me see here. Give me 1 second, everybody. Let me get to. Let's see here. Girly Nerd says here it goes in his list of things to check out. Yes, absolutely. And maybe says here Poppy, and then she clarifies Drake, not Tones. Interesting. When I saw Poppy, I thought Tones for sure, because he's our Tones Poppy. But interesting stuff. Tommy Lips, happy Saturday. You guys looking to do any signings or anything else on the show floor for D23? What say you, George? Any signings? Anything?
Yeah, we did put in for some who used to be he was the former president of Walt Disney Imagineering, which I think is quite awesome, honestly, that he got invited to do a signing and be part of D23, even though he's not in the company anymore. So I'm glad that they kind of ended on a good note between him and the company.
Yeah, me too.
And then I think we also did a couple others, like for animators at Disney and Pixar with Zootopia 2 and Moana 2. So and as we said earlier, that we will definitely check out the showroom floor. We'll see like what the Imagineering Pavilion looks like, the Great Big Beautiful Car Show, and what have you.
We're looking forward to Bluey the most. So
yeah, of course.
Absolutely, it's all about Bluey. Who I misgendered. I totally thought Bluey was a guy for the longest time. I still can't get over that. Maybe here says, amazing cheek heart, George. Kiss of Life's manager is calling now to get you in the next music video. Dude, you're going to be right next to our girl, Julie. That could be you, George, right there next to Julie.
I'm telling you, like, all they need is to, like, have an open casting call, and all they just need is like some random white dudes in the background just doing whatever. Like, I'm right there.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, I'm waiting for the call. If anyone from Kiss of Life, if your manager is ever watching this by chance, George and I are available. We'll do it for free. We don't even care. You know what I'm saying?
I don't have to get paid. There was that one music video we reacted to with Seymour in this scene where there was like 4 guys that ended up lifting up one of the girls.
Yeah, her name is Natty. Natty.
Yeah, that's like I'd do that. Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't even need the other two guys. Like, I'll just do it all by myself.
Yeah, they're gonna have a casting call. They're gonna be like, we need an Italian guy, a lot of chest hair, who recently won a beard growing challenge. Let's hope. We'll see. California Dreamin' says, "What's up, crew? Cheers to the weekend. Cheers to you, Cali Dreamin'. We appreciate you for joining us. Thank you so much." Let's see here. Tommy Lips. I thought Bluey was a dude too. I'm telling you, I thought it was a.
Yeah, I thought so too. My coworker ended up saying that they both Bluey and Bingo are both girls.
Who knew? Who knew? You know what I'm saying?
Which I'm glad we know now, because if we do end up going to that Bluey meet and greet, we have to, refer to her as a she, because we'd be going in there thinking it's a dude.
I know. Like, I would be like, "What's up, my man?" He's like, "Wait, what?" She's like, "What? What? I'm not a man." Oh man. Anyway, one more Julie. OG, he said her name is Natty. Exactly, George. Get it right. Her name is Natty, dude.
What did I say?
You said that girl.
Oh, that girl. Yeah.
That girl. All right. So let's go ahead. I'm lost on my comments. Give me 1 second, everybody. I do apologize. Actually, I think we actually got all the way down. We got one more. Tommy Lips. Are you guys hitting anything else up while you're over in LA? I actually live in LA, Tommy. So I'm always hitting stuff up here in LA, but George is actually from the good state of Pennsylvania. George, you want to let Tommy know what you'll be hitting up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why are you laughing, George?
Oh Lord.
What are you gonna hit up?
Inside joke there, folks. So for when I'm over in California, obviously I go down into the Anaheim area for Disneyland. Obviously, I do at times here or there. I go to Knott's Berry Farm. Recently, a lot of my California trips also include a day at Universal Hollywood, like when I get to go with OG, Mr. Webber, and everybody. So that's always a good time. When I'm in the LA area, though, which I unfortunately I don't really get to go to that often, but when I do love the I don't know, OG, what's the name of the mall? That was right down from the hotel that I stayed at. It was walkable, but it was like right by it was like an outdoor mall, and then there was an actual mall.
You mean the one over by where I'm at? Like in my area. Oh, okay. Yeah. Topanga, Westfield.
That's it. Yes. I absolutely love that mall. That mall is huge. It's like nothing compared to the malls that are out here. But, and then I also love, Tam O'Shanter.
Yes.
I want to go back to Tam O'Shanter. They have the most amazing prime rib. I'm a prime rib kind of guy.
Yeah.
And they had the best prime rib.
Yeah, Tam O'Shanter's was great, and we went there the last time.
Yes,
we were down here. Well, not last time you were down here, maybe a year ago, right? And I don't know what the waitress put in your beer. This guy can hold his alcohol. He had one beer, and he's like giggling like a little schoolgirl. I'm like, George, what is going on? The whole car trip, you and Mindy were like cracking up.
It was, yeah. Like I don't know what it was with that beer, but it wasn't even.
It's a beer.
It wasn't even that strong. Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Yeah, exactly. Girly Nerd here said you should have a day in San Diego. Yeah, San Diego is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's very pretty down there, which Ebba was trying to get me, down there a couple times too. It's just the distance for me is like very
You're not willing to go the distance, right? Sorry. I had to throw a Hercules joke in there, you know what I'm saying? I had to. We talked about it earlier, you know what I'm saying? California Dreamin' here says you guys will need to hit up the new Din Tai Fung, DTF for short. DTF.
DTF.
You know what DTF is, right?
Yeah.
That's your middle name, George. That's your middle name. And then Cali Dreamin' here says, where's my boy Slimer? Exactly. Yeah, we'll get Slimer back on. He was in the chat earlier, but we'll get him back on the show shortly. Yeah, that's his boy. That's Cali Dreamin's boy. Maybe here says San Diego, and go to SeaWorld. Y'all know they got those free goodie bags on the floor. Nice. Yeah, I really do want to go to SeaWorld though. I haven't been. Oh my God, I haven't been in a long time. I think it's been almost a decade.
It's been longer for me.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
But also too, kind of going back a little bit with LA, the dates are probably going to be very hectic for me. I probably won't be able to make it, but I would love to do the I'm drawing a blank here, on the 28th or the 29th of September.
Oh, the Water Bomb Festival.
Water Bomb Festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, especially, and it's rumored Kiss of Life might be there, George.
Oh shit.
You might be able to meet Julie, dude, in person. You know,
I gotta get a sticky t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. She can perform Sticky for you live in person. California Dreaming here says, I really want to see Knott's again. I have not been since I was a teenager. Yeah, it's a cool park. I actually I just recently went like back in October, I think it was, or November, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was it's a cool place, man. And before that, I haven't been like the last time before that, I was like 10 years old. I don't even really remember it. But they have some cool stuff. I like the ghost town. I like the log ride. The Calico mine train is cool. The train, like they have like a real, like a life-size train that goes like through the park. It's absolutely beautiful. A lot of cool stuff at Knott's. I'm not like a big coaster person, so I don't really care about all the roller coasters, but they have enough like little glimmers and nuggets of theming that it's fun for me. And the food, oh my God, the food is so good. And they have that dining plan. It's like $30, all you can eat all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then we got one more comment before we head out of here. California Dreaming, poor Slimer is tortured by my comments. Nah, Slimer is flattered. He's absolutely flattered. We got to get Slimer on here again. The last video I did with Slimer. Okay, so California Dreaming, we have in our member exclusive videos. We recently did a video with Slimer, the horniest theme park attractions. It's like one of the funniest videos we've ever done. I'm not even kidding you. We were dying the whole time. Yeah. Slimer's in that one. But yeah, we'll get him back on the main show though soon though, absolutely. But it won't be for a horny attraction video. That's only for the members.
That's for the members. Yeah,
that was kind of spicier.
We all kind of let it hang out. No pun intended on that one.
Jeez. Yeah, right. Exactly. We had a ball, didn't we, George?
We had a ball. Yeah. Times 8.
we had a ball. Yeah. One sec. Actually, you know what, Callie? I do have a link. Let me get that to you. Because sometimes on mobile, it doesn't let you do it. I don't know. It's kind of weird with YouTube. But give me just a second, brother. I can get that link to you if you're interested. Give me just a moment here.
Yeah, California Dreaming. It. I tried doing it for several people on the iPhone to do it on mobile, which unless, as I said, if OG sends like the link or something, then you probably could.
Yeah. Okay, that should do it for you. I know it's kind of weird, but that should do it for you. All right, there we go. Well, I want to thank everybody who joined us today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Girly Nerd, California Dreamin', Florentine, Seymour, Slimer, Tones Poppy, Tommy Lips. Who else was in the chat with us today? Felicia, Jason Hill, Florentine, Kaylee, Witch Cat, Jim, Alma Baserto, Pat K, Lord Jonathan, everybody who joined us. We want to thank you so much for hanging out today. Always have a good time with y'all. It's always a fun time, just talking parks or even just like, shooting the shit and just having some good laughs, some shits and giggles, right, George? Shits and giggles.
Shits and giggles.
Yeah. But thank you all so much. But George, if you want to remind everybody where they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. You could find me on social media on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Should I play it again, dude?
Dude, go.
There we go. You can find him. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, no, you can find him on X and all that good stuff. He provides the stickiest of sticky news. Go ahead, George.
Absolutely. And just want to confirm that California Dreamin' has now officially joined the Orange Fam membership.
Yes. Check out that horny video. It's really, really funny. You'll like it. Even the intro is hilarious. So you'll have a good time, Cali Dreamin'. But thank you all so much for watching this episode of OG55. And until the next time.
세상이 누구에게나 공평하게 추악해.